Stars are
And
our
people
next
who,
guest.
and exactly, and they make fun of stars, and I'm sure we're going to hear something about that. They might even make
All
fun
right,
of
we have
second
Ron Schock
graders.
here and also Kristi Treitman, both comedians. We'll be at Comedy Caravan this weekend. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, let's start with you. You have quite an interesting story as far as, your life and all sorts of things. I read your bio. Talk a little bit about who you are and just kind of where you come from.
Well, my whole show is like a series of stories, but it's like I've lived a life of them. I'll give you just a quick bio, all right? In sequence, I'll go from a seminary where I was studying to be a Catholic priest to the following year I was on a chain gang in Louisiana. And then I was a burglar for the New Orleans mob for a while. Then I joined the Army. I'm still just a kid. I joined the Army because that particular judge gave me a choice. And was in the Army, and then when I got out of the Army, they had taught me explosives. So I decided to be all I could be and became a safecracker.
That's logical, right?
Yeah, it's, it was
It's
a
in your
step,
history. You
it's
add
a
a little,
step-by-step progression.
you add a little skill,
Yeah,
and then you use it.
And then you use it. You be all you can be. And they caught me. I was a very successful burglar until one night I wasn't.
That sounds like the story, that's the end story for all great burglars, right?
That's right. I was a real good one until
And then
one night
got
I
caught.
wasn't, until I got caught. And that sent me off to prison for 3 years, which brings us up to 25. And by the time I was 31, I was vice president of Macmillan Publishing Company. And at the height of my corporate career at age 40, I quit that and became a stand-up comic. And I was the last new comic on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And I'm 68 years old. So
Wow.
how's that for
That's fantastic. That sounds like a rich life full of rich stories.
Full
So
of
you-
yeah, stories,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
You can't do all of that and not pick up some stories along the
Sure.
way. And I do. I do some things like I did on TV, newspaper stories. But I tell a lot of stories from my life. But I
right.
don't know which ones I'm going to tell.
All right, and one lady that also has some stories, Kristi Treitman. You are originally from Louisville,
Yes.
but you live in Chicago, and I read that you used to be a teacher, so I'm sure there's some stories that go along with that as well.
Yeah, a lot of my act has to do with teaching, and I taught second grade for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years, and it was great. I love teaching second grade, so yeah.
What's one of the stories? I want to hear one of these second grade stories. I was in the classroom for a long time teaching, and there are plenty of funny stories to tell. I mean,
About teaching second grade?
Well, about teaching second grade. I'm sure there's snot stories. I'm sure there's
There
all
are
kinds of real-
actually a lot of pretty vulgar stories that I don't even know if they're appropriate for TV.
We got to keep it PG, you know.
Yes, exactly.
You may think it's
because
second
kids
grade.
don't filter what comes out of their mouth, so that's what's so funny about teaching.
Well, didn't you have one second grade story you could tell? Not one? Is there one?
Let me think if there's a second grade. Well, something, because working with kids is really tiring.
Yes.
So when we would come back in from lunch, like I would usually have them play a game of Duck, Duck, Goose. Well, I would actually play Duck, Duck, Gray Goose.
Chitting
We
pa.
just-
We
yeah,
got it. Very well done. Yeah. Well, sometimes teachers have things hidden in their coffee as well. But I won't accuse you of that.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to find out all their stories at Comedy Caravan. Obviously, Ron's headlining this week. Kristi, you'll be there as well. Tickets are $10. So go online. You can get tickets there or call 459-0022. All right, Ron, I got to ask, what are people going to see? I mean, obviously, we're going to hear stories from you, but what are people going to see? You are so unique.
Well, that's what they're going to say. I've been doing it a long time out here, and I've got a very, very rabid fan base. They're not huge, but they really like me because they don't know what they're going to see the next time they come in there. And I do. Part of a segment I do is newspaper stories. It's the easiest way to write a joke. I mean, you read the paper; it's there every day. But there was one recently, 6 months, in USA Today, where a guy was driving down a 2-lane road in Oklahoma in broad daylight and hit an elephant. He hit a full-grown, 3-ton, male, tusk and all elephant. He says in USA Today, "I didn't see the elephant, it blended in with the road." but when I saw the elephant, I screamed, "Elephant," and turned the wheel, which is why I hit it like that. That's the whole story, right? And I heard,
All right, well, if you want to hear more about the story, check out Ron and I, Comedy Caravan. They have all so much going on during the week. Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks,
you.
Kristi. Thanks,
All
Ron.
right, and we'll
Glad to
be
be here.
right back.